He painted women with no eyes. Not because he couldn't, because he saw something the rest of us don't. That to be looked at is not the same as being seen. Amedeo Modigliani, Italian painter. 1884 to 1920. 35 years, most of them spent in Paris, drunk, dying, painting women with faces like masks and necks like swans, and eyes that were not eyes at all, just blank almond shapes, empty, unreflective, refusing to look back. This is not about beauty. This is about what beauty hides. This is about women who were painted over and over and still remained unknowable. This is about the space between the painter and the painted, the lover and the beloved, the seeing and the seen. He didn't paint portraits, he painted absences, but he didn't start with painting, he started with stone. For 5 years, from 1909 to 1914, he carved limestone heads with elongated faces and blank almond eyes, women who looked like ancient columns, holding up invisible temples. Caryatids, he called them, female figures as architecture, bodies as support structures for something greater than themselves. He wanted to be a sculptor, not a painter. He studied African masks, oceanic totems, Egyptian statuary, Easter Island moai. He wanted to carve the essence of the face, stripped of everything decorative, everything false, just the geometry. 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, a neck. The minimum required to still be human, but stone dust and tuberculosis don't mix. The coughing got worse. The blood in his handkerchiefs got darker. Every strike of the chisel sent particles into the air, into his lungs, into his already failing body. His art dealer told him, "Painting is faster, cheaper, easier to sell. Your lungs can't take the stone." So he switched. He took his elongated stone faces and translated them onto canvas, the necks that looked like columns, the blank carved eyes, the simplified mask-like geometry. All of it came from sculpture. Legend says that when he realized he would never carve again, he threw his sculptures into a canal in Paris. Some were recovered decades later. Some turned out to be fakes, made by pranksters who knew the story. Most are gone, at the bottom of the Seine, limestone dissolving back into water, but the faces remained in paint instead of stone, still elongated, still eyeless, still unknowable. Look at their necks, impossibly long, stretched like pulled taffy, like stems too thin to hold the weight of the head. Look at their faces, narrow, oval, smooth as river stones. No wrinkles, no pores, no imperfection. Just the essential geometry of a face, simplified, distilled, made into something more than human and less than human at the same time. He stretched them, not to make them beautiful, to make them unreachable. In portrait of Jeanne Hébuterne, her neck is a column, not metaphorically, literally. She looks like one of his carved caryatids, a woman whose body exists to hold up something invisible. Her face is smooth, mask-like, as if it could have been chiseled from limestone. Her shoulders slope gently, as if she is always in the middle of a shrug, always uncertain, always half-present. She looks like a Renaissance Madonna painted by someone who no longer believed in God. She looks like she is already halfway to becoming a ghost. In Gypsy Woman with Baby, the woman holds a child, but the child is faceless, barely suggested, just shapes and shadows. What matters is her neck, her face, the way she holds her head, as if it is too heavy, as if she has been carrying something for too long and has forgotten how to put it down. Modigliani didn't paint bodies as they are. He painted bodies as they feel, stretched thin, elongated by longing, by waiting, by the slow pull of gravity and time and sadness. He painted them the way he carved them, reduced to essence, stripped of decoration, made into the minimum required to still be called a woman. And then the eyes, or the lack of them. Most of his portraits have no pupils, no irises. Just blank almond shapes, sometimes painted a flat brown or blue, sometimes left empty white, like windows with the shades drawn. They are eyes that do not see, eyes that do not look back, eyes that are there and not there, present but absent, open but blind. But not always. Occasionally he painted eyes with detail, pupils, irises, light catching in them, sometimes for men, his art dealer, Paul Guillaume, his friend, the painter Haïm Soutine, fellow artists, intellectuals, people he respected or needed. Their eyes looked back. Their eyes had depth. Their eyes saw him seeing them. And sometimes for Jeanne, in a few portraits, she has eyes. Real eyes. Eyes that see, but in most she is like the others, blank, almond-shaped, present but absent, beautiful but unknowable. People say he only painted eyes on those he loved. But that's not quite true. He painted eyes on those he allowed to see him, and even Jeanne, the woman he loved most, the woman who killed herself 2 days after he died. Even she was painted mostly without eyes. In portrait after portrait, she stares forward with blank ovals where her irises should be. She is there, but she is not there. She is seen, but she does not see back. Maybe that's the real tragedy. That even love, even devotion, even the woman who carried his child and threw herself from a window, even she remained a mystery, still a mask, still unreachable. She faces forward. Her eyes are blank ovals, soft brown, like stones at the bottom of a river. She is looking at nothing, or at everything, or at you, but without seeing you. Her face is calm, her posture is composed, but there is something unsettling about her. Something that makes you feel like you are the one being erased, not her. He painted women without eyes because he couldn't bear to be seen back, or because he understood that to be looked at is not the same as being seen, or because beauty to him was something distant, untouchable, preserved only in its absence. And then the nudes, the ones that caused riots, the ones the police shut down. In 1917, Modigliani had his first solo exhibition, a small gallery in Paris. The paintings in the window, reclining nudes, women on divans, on beds, on floors, bodies bare, unashamed, unapologetic, not posed, not performing, just existing. The police shut it down within hours. Obscenity, they said. Indecency. Modigliani's nudes were not erotic in the way the world expected eroticism. They were not performing for the male gaze. They were not inviting. They were simply being, and that refusal to perform, that refusal to apologize, that refusal to be anything other than a body existing in space, was what made them dangerous. The world wasn't ready for women who didn't care if you looked. She was 19 when they met. He was 33, already dying, already drunk most days, coughing blood into handkerchiefs, painting in rooms he couldn't afford, burning canvases for warmth. Jeanne Hébuterne, art student, quiet, devoted, doe-eyed, her Catholic family disowned her when she moved in with him, a Jew, a drunk, a dying man with no money and no future. He painted her 25 times, maybe more. In every portrait, she is elongated, silent, serene. Her neck is a pillar, her face is a mask. Her eyes, when he bothers to paint them with detail, are soft, vague, unfocused, but mostly they are blank, just like the others, just like the anonymous models, the nudes, the women of Montparnasse. She is beautiful, but she is not there. She is present, but she is already fading. She sits, hands folded, body still. Her dress is simple, her face is calm. But there is something in the way she holds herself, something resigned, something patient, something that knows how this will end, and it did end. January 24th, 1920. Modigliani dies in a charity hospital, 35 years old, tubercular meningitis, screaming in Italian, delirious, alone except for the nurses who do not understand him. His last words, they say, were "Cara, cara Italia." January 26, 1920. 2 days later. Jeanne, 8 months pregnant with their second child, throws herself from the 5th-floor window of her parents' apartment. Her family had taken her back after Modigliani's death, hoping to separate her from his memory. But she could not be separated. She could not stay. She was 21. Their daughter survived. She was raised by Modigliani's sister, far from Paris, far from the paintings, far from the story. He painted them without eyes because eyes demand presence. Eyes demand truth, eyes demand reciprocity, and reciprocity was the one thing he couldn't give. He could only give them beauty, and absence, and the long, slow disappearance that comes from being seen, but never known. The sculptures are mostly gone, dissolved at the bottom of a canal or scattered in private collections, but the paintings remain, still elongated, still silent, still eyeless, still asking the same question he asked his entire life. What does it mean to see someone? What does it mean to be seen? And the answer, if you look long enough at these faces without eyes, is this. Maybe being seen is not about eyes at all. Maybe it's about being held in someone's mind long enough to be translated into stone, into paint, into something that lasts longer than the body, longer than the love, longer than the 35 years he had to make sense of it all. She threw herself from a window. He screamed in Italian. The paintings hung on walls, and we are still looking at faces that will not look back, still asking, did he see her? Did she see him? Or were they both just elongated shadows, beautiful and unreachable, painting and painted, seer and seen, forever separated by the canvas between them? Some women are painted without eyes because the painter couldn't bear to be seen back.